Hello everyone, thank you for coming. I'm gonna start introducing myself, but just before we start, if you can apologize me, I'm gonna take my headpiece off, because first I cannot see anything in front of me, and I cannot really speak, so just a second. Alright, so I'm Frank. I'm coming from Spain. I'm known as from Cosplay. I was born in Spain, but 3 years ago I moved to Poland, where I was working. I was working in a cosplay magazine, covering events in Poland, and as well I took part in several competitions there, and I was judged as well there in Poland. And 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I moved to London as well. I've been living there since then. I've been competing there. I've been judged there as well in Comic Cons. And as well, I've been 7 years cosplay judge and organizers of cons in Spain. So that got me to know a lot of cosplayers, not only from my community, as well Polish community, English community, now Israeli community as well. But as well cosplay guests that we were bringing from other countries to judge our competitions. And that's what we're going to speak about today. We're going to speak about how cosplay changed in the time and how it changed within the countries. So you can see as well a bit how it is the cosplay outside of Israel, because I don't know if many of you are traveling, because I know that a lot of Israeli people is traveling to cons outside Israel, but maybe it's not the case for all of you. So at the beginning, my friend Ofer, he's going to help me to speak about the actual situation of the cosplay community in Israel. It will be a fast brief just to be able to compare it, what we will speak about later. Then we will speak about how cosplay changed in the last years. As I said, I've been doing cosplay judging for over 7 years. But even before that, I was already, I had a lot of friends that was working with that, and I was helping them and all that stuff. So I know how it changed during all this time. Then something that apparently people is really interested about is how the competitions, the cosplay competitions are outside Israel. We will speak both from the local competitions, small competitions, as the big national competitions like World Cosplay Summit, European Cosplay Gathering. Those are the two most important ones, but we will see more further. Then we will speak about cosplay in social media, how people get to be famous with cosplay. I guess you will know Jessica Nigri and stuff. Then we will end explaining how people is able to live from cosplay, how they have cosplay as their day-by-day job. Okay, so we're going to start speaking about the situation of cosplay in Israel. The first thing I wanted to ask here is if there is a real community of cosplay in Israel. Not from the point of people doing cosplay, because obviously there is people doing cosplay, but more like if there is a connection between the people, if there is really like people is like a team inside of Israel.
So,
you can do it in Hebrew.
אוקיי, אז כמו שכולכם יודעים, הקהילה של הקוספליי הישראלית, בגלל שהיא קטנה מאוד, היא גם מאוד איכותית ומאוד מקובצת ומאוד מחוברת לתוך עצמה. זאת אומרת, כולנו כמעט מכירים את כולנו, אנחנו רואים אחד את השני, גם אם אין לנו איזשהו קשר ישיר של לעשות קוספליי ביחד, אנחנו פחות או יותר כולנו מכירים אחד את השני, או שמענו על מישהו, או מכירים חבר שעשה משהו כזה. בשורה התחתונה כולנו מכירים את כולם, זה מאוד מחובר, מאוד מיוחד, בגלל שזה ככה.
Okay, the next thing I wanted to ask him was, when was the cosplay in Israel at its best? It's supposed to be something like it's all the time growing. People keeps learning and learning and learning about cosplay, but we all know it's really expensive hobby, really tiring. A lot of people quit in the way, so it's all the time refreshing that people that is into cosplay. So, for example, a couple of years ago, we would say we had our golden age in Spain. We will speak about it later. Basically, we won every single international competition that we took in. We won the Summit, the ACG, the Euro Cosplay, the Calatrava Cosplay Cup, the Yamato. I can keep going. We won like 7, 8 worldwide competitions. So I want to know, when was Israel at its best? Okay.
שומעים אותי טוב יחסית? כן, מעולה, סבבה.
סבבה.
אוקיי, אז אנחנו יודעים, הקהילה עכשיו אצלנו בארץ היא במגמת עלייה כל הזמן. אם נסתכל 10 שנים אחורה, לא היה רמה כזאת של קוספליי בארץ, היינו נפגשים בהארוקון. אמא הייתה עושה לי את העצמות כדי שזה ייראה כמו הדמות, והייתי לובש איזה 2 בגדים וזה היה נראה כמו הדמות, והייתי הולך על זה, זה לא משנה שלדמות בכלל יש שיער כחול. זה בסדר, השיער החום הרגיל שלי, הכל יעבוד, וככה זה היה לפני 10 שנים. ובאמת עכשיו, כמו שאנחנו יכולים לראות, הקהילה שלנו במגמת צמיחה. הנה, השנה אנחנו שולחים נציגים בפעם הראשונה לתחרות בינלאומית, לוורד קוספליי סאמיט, למי שלא מכיר. זאת אומרת, מכאן אנחנו רק עולים ועולים ועולים. לדעתי לא רחוק היום, שאנחנו גם נשלח נציגים ישראלים לעוד תחרויות, ונקרא את הספרדים. זהו לא שמע, אנחנו נקרא אותו.
So the next thing I think is really important to speak about it mostly this year is the World Cosplay Summit in Israel. I don't know if anyone here is competing. If you are competing, you shouldn't be here. You should be rehearsing your skit. So what's the World Cosplay Summit? First of all, we'll say is the Football World Cup of cosplay. They pick a couple from every country in the world, the ones that are competing. Israel joined this year. If I'm not mistaken, at the moment, there are 42 countries inside the competition. I may be wrong, but something like that. And this year, for the first time, Israel is inside the competition. I don't know if there was any international competition before in Israel. No? Okay. So it's really important, not only for the image that they are going to take from Israel outside the country, once the representatives that will be chosen today will travel to Japan, but as well for the community here. It's a plus for you guys. Enjoy it. It's an amazing experience. I never been in the World Cosplay Summit in Japan. I tried 1 year, but I had to quit at the middle because the building was too big and I ran out of money. But then I would like to speak as well about the national, local competitions that till now it was the only thing that you had here. So if you want to speak how they work.
למרות שבאמת יש לנו 2 כנסים גדולים בשנה, הראשון זה הארוקון, השני זה קאמי, הם בערך הכנסים היחידים שהקוספליירים נוהרים אליהם, נכנסים אליהם, מעבירים בהם גם תכנים וגם מתחרים כמו שצריך, באמת משקיעים את מרב הזמן שלהם לשם. יש לנו עוד תחרויות קטנות, כמו שאתם יודעים, לפעמים יש באייקון, לפעמים יש באולמות, התחרויות הטיפה יותר קטנות שעכשיו רק תוצאות תבוצע, ואני מקווה שלא רחוק היום, שיהיו לנו עוד תחרויות גדולות שכולנו נוכל ללכת אליהן בארץ ולהתחרות אפילו אחת לחודשיים וחצי, 3, כי כרגע יש לנו 2 תחרויות, וכבר אספר לכם על כל התחרויות שיש להם בחו"ל, יש להם הרבה יותר תחרויות שהם יכולים ללכת אליהם, ואז אתה לא מרגיש מחויב בעצם להגיע ספציפית להארוקון מושקע, או ספציפית לקאמי, כי יש הרבה יותר תחרויות גדולות, מסיביות, עם פרסים משמעותיים, שאתה מרגיש באמת בנוח לבזבז עליהם המון כסף.
Then, this is something I wanted to know for myself, because I don't know if there is any cosplay influencer in Israel, Ophir?
בעיקרון, כולנו יודעים, אין לנו איזה סלב, מישהו שהוא ממש משמעותי בקהילה, מישהו כזה שיכולים לבוא ולהגיד, כמו שלגרמנים יש את קמוי, בסדר? ולאמריקאים יש את ניפה, ולספרדים יש את גיל, בסדר? לנו אין מישהו כזה, או לא כזה. לנו אין מישהו כזה בעצם, למרות שכמו שאמרתי, הקהילה שלנו ממש במגמת העלייה, יש לנו קוספליירים שלאט לאט צוברים עוקבים ברשתות החברתיות, צוברים הכרה בינלאומית, אם זה ללכת לכנסים בחו"ל, או באמת לעשות קומישנים לאנשים בחו"ל מחוץ לארץ, ככה שלאט לאט אנחנו צוברים את השם שלנו.
Okay, I think you spoke about a bit the next point, commissioners and people working from cosplay in Israel. I know couple of people from Israel that is actually not full-time doing cosplay and commissions, but for example here sometimes you are taking commissions for props. And I don't know if you know Daphna cosplay. She's taking commissions for wigs and mostly dresses, I think.
Everything.
Yeah.
Basically everything.
Basically everything.
And she has already known outside of Israel for her commissions, so it's good.
Yeah, she's shipping commissions abroad, so it's a good start. Okay, thank you. You can see. Oh, can you take the head, please? Okay. Now we have the starting point. I'm gonna leave this as well. We have the starting point for compare how Israel is now and how is the world. We're gonna start seeing how the cosplay community changed at the beginning. I don't know if you know this little girl here. She's Kamui Cosplay. She is the most known European cosplayer. At the moment, she's only doing cosplays under requirement. Like companies pay her a lot of money to do cosplays of their video games. We will speak about that later. But we can see this is her very first costume. She started in 2003. It's just some fabric wrapped around. And then even this picture is from 5 years ago. You can already see the evolution. If you see a picture of her now, it's amazing. Probably the best cosplayer in the world because she is not only doing props, she's Sue as well. So she is really, really good. Okay, so let's start. What was the thing first that made cosplay change? First, it was the competition. Competition between people. See who was the best. It's not the most healthy thing, but it was happening. I want to be better than everyone else. So that's how they started, like, oh, how can I do this better than this person that is doing the same costume? And that's how we came to the new materials. Probably all this, you didn't leave it here in Israel, it just suddenly appeared. But in Europe, it happened like this. People was, before arriving to Worbla, there is a thermoplastic, usually use it for doing armors and stuff. People was working with other kind of materials and mixing and doing that stuff. That's how they created Worbla. It was not like companies offering products to people, but people themselves trying to be better. They found those products. They created those products. As well, they are every time more easy. I remember when Worbla started to sell, it was like 100 euros for a sheet of Worbla. Now it's around 60. That is almost half a price in Europe. I don't know here. And as well, at the beginning it was really hard to find all these materials like Worbla and cosplay flags and different fabrics that can match. But because mostly all of these products, they were created in Germany. So if you were from outside Germany, it was quite difficult to get them. But with the time, they appear specialized websites that they are selling those products. They are just cosplay stores, but online, like AliExpress, but like with good quality. They are not only selling full costumes already done, they sell as well materials. They sell Worbla, wigs, lenses, glue to glue the wigs to your head, fabrics, tools, a huge range of products. And you can find everything in one store, so you don't have to be looking around where I can find this, where I can find the other. You can find everything everywhere. For me, for example, as now I'm living in the UK, I'm using Coscraft. That is mostly for wigs and thermoplastics. It's a really good website. I don't know if it is shipping here, but if you have the opportunity to try it, it's really would recommend it. The wigs are almost like Arda wigs. You mostly know Arda wigs, I guess. They are really expensive website from the US. It's not that expensive because of the product, but because the shipping here is almost the same price as the wig itself. So now we brought all that to Europe as well. Again, from noob to pros, at the beginning, people was doing it for fun. They were wrapping a t-shirt around them, doing campaigns, and it was amazing. Now you can see they go full-time. This girl is doing full-time of it. Not only her, only her is wearing the costume, but her and her husband are living from it. Like they pay them enough to both of them living from doing costumes for her. Let's go to the next point. Companies around the, let's say 2014, yeah, more or less during this time, they started to see, oh, these people is doing our characters for free, and they are giving us publicity for free. Why, if, for example, for League of Legends, when we are going to announce a new champion, we're going to do a cosplayer to do that champion before everyone else, so that cosplayer is going to be promoting our product. So they were hiring people, they were paying cosplayers to do their products. Not only from video games, but as well movies. Right now there is a really strong movement in Germany that the most known cosplayers, they don't do cosplays for themselves, they do costumes for movies. Like for example, in the last one I remember, I think in the last one of The Hobbit, half of the dresses were done by a cosplayer. And as well, maybe you know Nikita, it's a French cosplayer. She's doing costumes for Disneyland in Paris. She's doing all the dresses, and as well the dresses that they sell for the little kids in the stores in Disneyland Paris. She's the one designing them. She's not sewing them because they are like massive produced, but she's the one sewing them. So little by little, companies themselves were the ones approaching to the cosplayers to promote their products. Now we are going to see, during a lot of time at the beginning, let's say everything started in Japan. That's something that we all knew. And with the time, it got evolving. And it evolved in different ways all around the world. In the USA and United Kingdom, right now they are in a point that they are back to the beginning. Do you remember all this competition thing I told you about, that they wanted to be best than the other and stuff? They forgot that that's not existing anymore. They're just doing cosplay for fun, because they love the characters, because they want to have fun in the con. They want to go party after the con with the costume. So that's how they came back to the origins of cosplay. Then I'm going to speak about Spain. We are really known for doing good performances. I don't know why. I think, from my point of view, it's because we started to, in the World Cosplay Summit, the ECG, that is the European Cosplay Gathering, and the Calatrava Cosplay Cup at the same time. And those three competitions were held together at the same time in the same competition. In the same competition, they were going to choose all the best of the best. And what happened that not only the craftsmanship is counting, as well the skit. The Calatrava Cosplay Cup is a 20% of the costume and an 80% for the skit. So people was trying, okay, if I cannot get into the World Cosplay Summit, I'm going to get into the Calatrava Cosplay Cup. And at the same time, there was really, really good people. It was not like there was really good people. They were more or less all at the same level in costume-wise. But then the one that was having the better skit was the one that was having those extra points to win. And then in France and Germany, they are really focused on doing the costume yourself, that is looking as accurate as possible, that is having no loose seam, that all the props are well done, that everything is smooth. And then, for example, we could speak about other countries, like Russia, for example. They are really into cosplay photography. If you follow any Russian cosplayer or photographer, they are amazing. More or less like that, we could summon that part. Any question by now? No? Okay. So now the competitions. We have spoken how the competitions before were in Israel. Now we're going to speak about how the competitions are outside of the world. Here I was judging a small con in Spain. It was 3 years ago, if I don't know wrong. Here, for example, you can see this girl here. Is Tine Maria Ruiz. She's a Norwegian cosplayer. Right now she's around the 500,000 followers on Facebook. So it's really important people for what we're going to speak now. It reached the point in Spain, and I think all over Europe, that people was spending more money on their costumes than what they were going to get back from the competition. So a lot of people was thinking, oh, why am I going to spend $1,000 in doing this costume if then the price is 1 week or a bag of merchandising? So people stopped competing. For a bit, like a couple of years, people stopped competing. They were only going to the competitions that were having a big prize, rather a cash prize or a trip. And for example, in this same competition, the prize was a trip to Paris, to Japan Expo, where ECG is held. It was like 5 days completely paid by the con, with all the expenses, the tickets, money for food. So all the cons started to offer all big prizes in cash, or something like travels, participating in international competitions, because, for example, the Magic Monaco competition, yeah, it was held last week. There's no a selection of that competition. They basically, their own organizers contact people that won previous competitions in Spain to go to their competition. So for example, if there is one person that year won 3-4 competitions, it's really likely that they're gonna call them for going to one of these competitions. Okay, we started as well. It's really uncommon that there is no competition, that is not having an international cosplay judge. Mostly only the really small ones are having only local cosplayers as their judges. And this is not only because of the prestige that it can give to the competition. Like, I remember I was judged once by Jaja Han, and just for her to see my costume, it was already amazing. But as well, people wanted to meet those cosplayers, and like that you were avoiding all the drama that there is after the competition. I don't know if any of you here used to compete, but it's really common that probably today is the competition, so tonight people will start speaking, oh, this one because he was a friend of this one, or this one because he was the cousin of the other. So bringing people from outside that don't know anyone about the people in that country is helping, because even if they say, oh, you won because it was the friend of this, but you can say, oh, but the decision was taken by someone that don't even know them. But for example, in this picture, I was a judge, and these 3 girls, they took 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. They are the 3 of them, they are friends of mine, and I didn't want to vote. We had here that she was having the 3rd place because she fucked up a bit the skit. But between those 2, I didn't want to vote because one person voted here, one person voted here, and I didn't want to vote because they are both my friends. So I didn't want to be the one making the decision. So we came back to her and we asked her, who do you think should be the winner? So at the end, her alone was the one deciding who was the winner in that competition. And of course, there was a lot of drama after. People was coming to me, oh, why this person won? I was like, well, the 3 of the people that got 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place, they are all my friends. So it doesn't matter who won, they would have said that to me. But at that moment I could say, but it was this girl who decided. I didn't say anything about it. Okay, something I want to speak really fast. There are some competitions that they accept not only accurate or canon characters, they accept as well original character, gender swap, gender burn, gender bend, all like that. Same, we created like different kind of competitions. Some that you can just go without the skit, some that you are obliged to do the skit. Like here, for example, for me was surprised that not everyone that was into the competition was having to do the skit. Like it's completely separate. Because there in Europe, if you go to the cosplay competition, you have to do cosplay and skit. If not, you can go to the runway competition. They're gonna be just go on the stage, come back, that's it. We have as well, as I said, competitions just for skit. Like, it doesn't matter if you're wearing clothes from your home. If you have a good skit, you're gonna win. Oh, yeah, and the last thing I want to speak, I don't know if you know how all this thing of the World Cosplay Summit, ECG, International Cosplay League, they all started as small contests. They were small contests like this, and they started to give bigger prizes, and bigger prizes, bigger prizes. So then, to one point, they were like, okay, so we need to bring people from outside to make all this worth. We have to make a really big competition, because if not, all this money that we're spending is not worth. So for example, the last time that happened was in Madrid. They were having one of the biggest competitions in Spain. They were not even an international competition. They were not sending anyone to the WCS or anyone. It was just a normal local competition. But it became so big that they needed to do this. So they created the International Cosplay League. It's kind of the ECG. They bring people from Europe. They the conventions pay between them. Like, and you can choose in your contest. You're gonna choose who's gonna come to my country, and in exchange, I leave you do it. I leave you use this publicity for your competition. So now, for example, we're having Italy, Poland, Switzerland, Spain, United Kingdom, USA, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, and someone else that I'm forgetting. But all of this started from little and growing up, and all because of money. Okay, so here I got the ones that I consider the 6 most important competitions in the world right now. I'm going to explain them a little bit. We have been speaking already about the World Cosplay Summit. It's a contest held in Japan. The cosplayers that go there to represent their countries, for 1 week they're going to be celebrities there. They're going to go to the TV, to the radio, they're going to go in limousines, they're going to have private photo shoots. It's a really amazing experience. As a contest, I don't like it that much, like the competition itself, but I think the World Cosplay Summit is worth for the experience. Then the second biggest competition in the world is the European Cosplay Gathering. I don't know if you are familiar with it, because right now it's only European, but I think it's already extended to the rest of the world. Basically, it works similar to the World Cosplay Summit. They pick people in different countries. In this time, it's not only couples that, like in the WCS, it's having 2 categories. It's having solo category and group category. That's including couples and groups of 3. And at this point, as a competition itself, not as an experience, the experience is still the best, the WCS with no doubt, but as a competition, the European Cosplay Gathering is having way more prestige than the World Cosplay Summit. Because of that thing that we spoke before of German people, French people going so hard into the craftsmanship, and as well for them, we could say they are the ones doing the biggest buildings. It's easier to transport it to Japan, to France, than to Japan. So it's easier to bring something big to the ECG than to the World Cosplay Summit. So at this moment, it's having a bit more prestige. Then we have the Cosplay Cup, and that is held in Holland. Yeah. It's a completely skit competition. Costumes, I think that they are worth at 20% of the final punctuation. And Spain won last year. We are really proud of it. I don't think I can say anything else about it. It's a really short competition. It's like 1 hour long. And it's not like the WCS and the ECG, they are a full experience because they bring people to do things. This is, you arrive to the country, go to the competition, and come back home. Then we have the Euro Cosplay. Maybe some of you know it because it's held in London, and people from Israel usually go to MCM a lot. It's basically a runway competition. As far as I know, the skit is having 0 punctuation on it. The same as the other ones is this time is only solo category. There is no couples, no groups, nothing. And this one, from my opinion, I know that there is a lot of people that like it, but for me, it's the worst of all of them. Because basically, I remember one year a friend of mine went to compete. They arrived to London in the morning, went to the con, changed in the costume, compete, finished the convention, and come back home. All that in one day, including flights, no hotel for them. Sometimes if they come from a bit farther, because mostly all of this depend on the convention that is sending you, because they are the one putting money. But Euro Cosplay is not offering those conventions enough to spend the money on this. Then we have the Yamato Cosplay Cup. It's like the Clara Cosplay Cup, but in solo category. The Clara Cosplay Cup is only couples, and this one will be the version of the singles. It's in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, if I'm not mistaken. So if you win, at least you have a trip to Brazil. It's happened a bit like the Euro Cosplay. You don't have time to do much, because they pay you a travel like for 2 days. So imagine if you come from here from Israel, maybe it's gonna take 14, 15 hours to go to Brazil. You're gonna stay there for 48 hours and come back home. So at the end, you're spending half of the time in the plane. And then what I spoke about, the International Cosplay League, is held in Spain. This is a bit weird because the solo competition is a runway. You don't have to do skits. It's just going with a costume. But the couple competition is including the skit. I don't know if it's couple or group. I think it's couple. So yeah, is in the single is completely just costume, and I think the couple is half skit, half the costume. Okay, now we're gonna speak about cosplay in social medias. Any of you know any of these three guys? Okay. First, let's start from bigger to smaller. We have Jajahan. I think only Jessica Nigri is having more followers than her. She is an old school cosplayer. I had the chance, as I said before, to meet her. And she got to be that famous because when she started like 2,000 years ago, there was no one else doing cosplay. So it was the only thing that was back then. So from the beginning, she was already famous and she just kept growing. At this moment, she's not doing that much cosplay. Before she was creating way more content, but now she's really focused on her products because she created her own line of fabrics. Now she launched a line of accessories like laces, buttons, and stuff. And as well, she's having like furry ears and all these things. When I met her, she was still like 100% in cosplay. But we were speaking about it, and it's true that she was saying that she was not seeing herself all life doing this. So she was creating this backup plan, like when I want to create cosplay, I'm gonna have all these things of the fabrics and the accessories. It's mostly really difficult to find it here in Europe. Well, here in Israel and in Europe. I think in Europe you can only find some of the fabrics in Germany. I think only few stores sell them. But if you go to the US, almost all the fabric stores are gonna have their products. And apparently they are really good quality. They started, like people were criticizing them a bit because they were not really good. Apparently now they are really good. Then we have Geje from Spain as well. Social media king. He is just growing and growing and growing. When we started to be friends, like around 1 year ago, he was having, no, 1 year ago? 2 years ago. He was having only 100,000 followers, so in 2 years he got 200,000 followers. He's not doing a lot of costumes, and here I'm gonna speak as a friend of him. is mostly because he's studying university. He's having the last year of university this year. So he's really focused, he's really responsible. And even not working full-time in cosplay, he went to this amount. Then the last one, we have Shinsuke from Switzerland. This is an example to see, like, even compared with this number, 80,000 can seem a little, but right now he's working full-time on cosplay. He's not studying, he's not having a second job, he's just working all the time on cosplay. Mostly he's doing Patreon content now, and soon he's gonna launch another project that I don't think I can say anything about it, but he as well is creating photo books. Right now he's about to launch a Junji Ito photo shoot. They are recreating with cosplay photography one full manga from Junji Ito. If you buy it by any chance, I'm gonna be there, one full page of my face. So yeah, here we have different examples. For example, for Gehe to become famous, it happened to him that back then when Tumblr was a thing, he posted a picture in Tumblr and he got viral. And when he felt that Tumblr was gonna die, he moved to Instagram, and there it was the boom. And for Shinsuke, it was more or less the same as Jayahan. When he started cosplay in Switzerland, there was not many good cosplayers. So him and his now ex-girlfriend were like the stand-ups. His ex-girlfriend was in ECG 2016, I think. So you can see there are people with a really good level. So they started to grow first in Switzerland and France. And from there, once you have a base, it's really easy to grow. Okay, cosplaying and social media, how to get there. As I said, those three people got in a really different way. Here we have Jessica Nigri, the most known cosplayer in the world. She's less impressive in person, she's something like this, tall. So, the boobs, they look bigger just because she's really tiny. Then, she was discovered, actually, I guess that mostly all the people that know her will know as well her Pikachu costume. She wore that costume to a convention, and one of the people that was having a booth at that convention sent her an email after, "Do you want to be the image of my company?" And she started to model cosplay. And she was doing only modeling till around 2016 as well. And from there, she moved back to create her own costumes. Okay, something really important about growing social medias is to be persistent. These people is posting pictures every 2-3 days, really maximum. They are having a lot of interaction with their audience, and that's how you attract people, with the feeling of being close. If you send a message to Jessica Nigri and she's gonna answer you back, you're gonna feel really important. You're gonna feel great. There's someone that is so famous is answering you. So they are playing a bit with this thing to keep growing. As we said, Gehe posted a random picture just with makeup on his Tumblr, and poof, famous. Other thing is something that we saw mostly with Jessica Nigri is that she stopped growing. When she was only modeling, she stopped growing. There was one point that she was just wearing sexy costumes. No more followers. What happened that from there she started to mix a bit. She was doing huge armors, huge dresses, and at the same time she was still creating this sexy content. So she was keeping the audience that she was having from before, and at the same time she was creating new audience that was coming from this new content. As I said, they as well do mostly content out of cosplay because it's easier for them, and as well it's gonna help them to keep having this huge amount of material. Cosplay social medias, as we said, we moved from Tumblr, that is now completely dead. Then it was Facebook, it's dying. Twitter has been always there, but because it's not having any filter, it's not having any. They don't cover like boobs and stuff, so people do censorship. Thank you. So it's kind of a free space for everyone. And then Instagram is the main social media now. Everyone having an Instagram. It's really easy to keep interaction with people from Instagram. The message system is working really well, not like in Facebook. The stories as well, posting stories is giving a feeling of proximity with this cosplayer. Then we have the application of Patreon and Coffee. There are two ways of getting money from your followers. In Patreon, you have a monthly subscription like Netflix, and in exchange, the cosplayer is going to give you exclusive content like patterns, photo shoots, and all that stuff. And Coffee is kind of working the same. It's just that the creator do the material under request. Like only you pay when you want to pay, not once a month, and then you're gonna get the material in return. Then we have fake cosplay influencers. I'm not gonna go here in much because we all know about these people paying bots to have extra followers and all that stuff. And we can see that we have everything is having space in social media, huge armors, yaoi, sexy content, lesbian content, huge dresses, tutorials, makeup, everything is having a spot in social medias. Then we have cosplay as a job. Here we have Kim. She is a cosplayer from South Africa, sorry. She's working as well 100% in costumes. And what she's doing is that every month she's creating a cosplay, and she's creating a book of how she did this costume, including patterns, tutorials, processes and stuff. So the ways they do money first is attending to cons, not selling their merchandising, and as well the cons usually pay them to be at their con to attract people. Besides selling merchandising, selling exclusive content in Patreon, Coffee, Instagram, wherever you want to sell it. Selling materials or tutorials like Jaya Han, working with companies like Jessica Nigri. Or then there is even people that is professional competitors. I know one girl from Malaga, so she is attending a competition every 2 weeks. So with the money she's getting from those competitions, she's able to live. Yes, it's crazy. She's doing like a huge costume every 2 weeks. And for example, she won International Cosplay League a couple of years ago. And she won as well the Monaco cosplay competition. So there's people just living from the competitions. But, okay, so that's it. If you have any questions. If you don't want to say it in English and you want to say it in Hebrew, they can translate for me. Yeah?
How did you start cosplay?
Okay, this is a funny thing. I started doing cosplay before doing cosplay, before knowing what cosplay was. Here you have Purim, that is this week. In Spain we have Carnival. So I did a really, really crappy link costume from that Carnival. I think a couple of years later, when I started organizing the cons, I started to see, like, oh, I want to do it as well. Let's try. 1 year I tried with my hiccup costume from How to Train Your Dragon 2. And from there, non-stop till now. Yeah?
An official organization for anime and manga in Spain. Like here we have Amari.
Here you have that one. Is the only one here?
I think so, yes, that's Amari.
No, we have another one, but not for anime.
Okay, so in Spain, it's really common that there are, like, in every city there is like a social group that the city hall is paying for doing activities to people. And then there are like 3-4 companies that are the ones putting the money, giving the money to these people, and they're gonna create accounts. Like for example, where I live, the account that we are organizing, we are this group in my city, and then we have, like, let's say the official organizer of the con that is coming from Barcelona. He's the one giving us the money, and we do everything for him.
Okay, really nice. I'm sorry about your
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Just one last thing, if you want to keep speaking or something, I'm gonna be outside. I got some prints and some of my merchandising as well. If you want to support me, I'm gonna be outside. Just come to me, say hi. I'm gonna be there. Thank you.